Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing an upcoming Ninjago storyline that has me concerned in a way. Ninjago Season 16 is going to be a pretty big event, all things considered. According to various set leaks and things that we know about the upcoming season, it's going to be a pretty insane ride for many Ninjago fans. However, due to Ninjago's track record with a similar storyline, I'm honestly quite concerned about the upcoming Ninjago Season 16 story. So many Ninjago fans are looking forward to this upcoming Ninjago season, and I myself think it's going to be pretty cool. However, it does bear a certain resemblance to a previous Ninjago storyline that I'm not super keen on, that of course being Day of the Departed. I've seen a couple of people reference Day of the Departed as a comparison to the upcoming Season 16 story for one distinct reason. Season 16, from what it sounds like based on the upcoming Ninjago sets for summer 2022, will feature the return of several older villains, including but not limited to Pythor, Harumi, the Skull Sorcerer, and Esphira. Simply because of the concept of villains coming back, several fans have been comparing Season 16 story to that of Day of the Departed, which featured a similar story with villains coming back and forming some type of unified team. Pythor himself even appeared during Day of the Departed as part of the villain lineup, which consisted of other characters such as Samukai, General Kozu, Cryptor, and Master Chen, just to name a few. Some folks are even referring to this upcoming storyline for Season 16 as Day of the Departed 2.0. I for one think that they are quite similar, and as such I am quite concerned because Day of the Departed in and of itself is not a good Ninjago story in my own personal opinion. I am aware that some people absolutely love Day of the Departed, and if you do, that's great, more power to you. I'm glad that you can enjoy something that I personally cannot. However, I personally found Day of the Departed to be rather bland and very much underwhelming for what it was trying to do. Throughout my years of being a Ninjago YouTuber, I have made it no secret that Day of the Departed is just not my cup of tea. I really don't like the dialogue, the execution of the storyline, and the writing itself is quite laughable in some areas. Part of the reason why I don't really like Day of the Departed is because of just how much it was trying to do in such a small amount of time. Bringing back several villains from older Ninjago stories has a lot of potential, and I think Day of the Departed would have been much better if it had more time to develop those characters and actually build this storyline successfully. That's the main reason why I think Season 16 will ultimately be successful in what it's trying to do. On the surface, it does seem like Season 16 will be doing the same thing as Day of the Departed, bringing back older villains and having them face off against the modern day versions of the ninja. That's pretty much what's going on in a black and white sense. However, there are several things about Season 16 that sound like maybe they have a better understanding of this story this time around and can make something successful out of it. The first thing is quite obvious. This is going to be a full-on Ninjago season, not a 44-minute TV special, which I think is very good considering how this plot point needs time to grow and blossom. As mentioned earlier, Day of the Departed was simply too short to handle all of these characters and give them each justice in terms of what they're trying to be as characters. Season 16 also has less villains to juggle. As of right now, we only know of a couple that are going to be appearing, while Day of the Departed had way too many characters for its own good and ultimately tripped over itself as a result. I think giving this storyline more time to grow and develop over the course of several episodes will allow the characters to actually showcase their motivations in a successful way. We can understand better as an audience why these characters are here and why they're doing what they're doing. The concept of multiple villains coming back will probably be in better hands. Speaking of which, I do think that some of the villains this go around are going to be interesting to see. Most of the villains returning are newer characters that were not in the original Day of the Departed lineup. Again, people like Harumi, Esphira, the Skull Sorcerer, they were not around for the first time Ninjago decided to bring back older villains and team them up. As such, I'm curious to see what the team dynamic will be between these characters, especially in the case of Esphira and Pythor. Speaking of Esphira, I'm excited to see her come back too. I do believe that with the longer runtime, maybe they can do justice to her character, as opposed to what happened during Season 11, which again gave her a very weak and pretty bland motivation. I've always said that if Ninjago wants to give Esphira a second chance, they totally should, because on the surface, she's a fun character that you could do a whole lot with in terms of story. So I'm excited to see her come back, and I think making the villain cast or the villain team smaller as well would be a great way to build up each of those characters in their own way, which was a big weakness of Day of the Departed, having too many characters to balance. I also think the premise is a little bit better this go around too. As mentioned, on the surface, the black and white plot of villains coming back and teaming up has been done before. However, in Season 16, we have multiple other things going on too, such as the involvement of Vengestone, the new golden wings things and all of the Golden Dragon stuff that the ninja are going to be dealing with. There's going to be more to this storyline besides villains coming back, which is probably a response to Day of the Departed's lackluster reception. Season 16 will feature a pretty big premise, all things considered, and while I do think going big may bring up some different issues, I think Ninjago as a whole has a better grasp on how to do the villains coming back concept that they pretty much failed to accomplish during Day of the Departed saga. As such, this new season will probably be in better hands and will be able to execute that storyline properly while also balancing it with other things that are going to be going on in the exact same season. It's not the only focal point, and I think that's for the better. I'm also more confident in the writing this time around. One of my biggest issues with Day of the Departed was, again, as mentioned, the writing and the dialogue. The Ninjago writers nowadays are more experienced in their craft, and recent Ninjago seasons have been pretty successful, including Master of the Mountain and Seabound. I think the current writers of Ninjago have a good understanding of these characters, especially because many of the characters that are going to be returning have been written by these same people before. Unlike Day of the Departed, which featured a new writer pretty much trying to adapt and give their own interpretations of older, more established characters that were already developed by different writers. The only exceptions nowadays would be Harumi and Pythor, but I do believe the current Ninjago writers have a good understanding of these characters and will do justice to them. Overall, guys, the premise of Season 16 may on paper sound very similar to that of Day of the Departed. However, I do have a lot more faith in this new project than I did during Day of the Departed's run. Day of the Departed had an excellent premise, a fantastic idea that unfortunately was not executed in the best way. I do believe that nowadays Ninjago is in a better position to be presenting a storyline such as this, and I feel like this time around they will definitely nail it. I believe in second chances, and I believe this go around, bringing back Ninjago villains and teaming them up will not go as badly as it did the first time, at least according to my own opinion. I'm looking forward to Ninjago Season 16, and I'm very excited to see what they end up doing with these returning characters, and hopefully this time around, hopefully justice will be served. Thank you so much for watching today's video, you guys. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Just a quick video comparing Day of the Departed to this upcoming Season 16 premise, and why I see some concern, but at the same time being super confident in what this new season will end up being. Leave a comment down below talking about what you think the upcoming Season 16 story will be all about, and how do you personally feel about Day of the Departed? Do you think it's a good story? Why or why not? Feel free to also let me know what you thought of my reasonings in today's video as why we should be maybe worried about Season 16 while also still remaining optimistic. Do you think Ninjago's negative track record regarding villains coming back is a good thing to be concerned about, or at least an appropriate thing to give some concern over? Leave all your thoughts down below, you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and as always, check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Once again, you guys, my name is TannerFishies, and with that, I bid you farewell.